with that set off like a lot of conversation on social media. It was really interesting. So RC tweeted, people might say I'm caping for Lamar Jackson, but to me it's common sense. Any other quarterback with his impact, his success, his overall statistics would be worshipped. Yet we're discussing why he isn't in the top 10 QBs. The 3 other former MVPs are in the top 4. Guess I'm dumb, though. RC, I loved it. Explain that tweet.
First off, Matt Ryan, I'm sorry you were an MVP and you were not in the top 4. That is my fault. But let's get back to the real thing at hand. Lamar Jackson, his impact on the team, the way he changed the team, not over the years, from taking over from Joe Flacco with the losing record and bringing that team to the playoffs. Oh, but he played terrible in the playoffs. Next year, wins the MVP. Oh, but he didn't play well in the first half of the playoffs. Next year, wins a playoff game, and we just keep moving it back. When you look at who this dude is, what he means to the Baltimore Ravens, any other quarterback that means that much to a team, we are throwing money at him and the rest of his family. But Lamar Jackson, well, I don't know if he can be in the top 10. You know what the problem is? When Jeremy Fowler broke out the top 10, here is what I realized. All of the people that let Lamar Jackson slip to 32 don't want to be dumb. They can't admit, you know what, we might have got it wrong. It doesn't have to look like it used to look. It doesn't have to sound like it used to sound. It can still be effective. Oh, by the way, we're saying he's not good. Everybody in this class that was drafted, they all stink. But yet, Lamar Jackson is the guy we continue to talk about why we can't give him money or put him in the top 10. I am sick and tired of not the double standard, the 31 standard, because the 31 fools that let Lamar Jackson drop to 32 will not admit, you know what, we might have made a mistake.
Yes, no, it's ego and confirmation bias at the same time. I agree. You said it last week on this show. He's not a system quarterback. He is the system. I like it. Okay, the next tweet you had, you tweeted, I don't know everything, but I know this ain't the top 10 wideouts. RC, explain that tweet.
Bro, did Jamar Chase retire after his first year? Since Deebo Samuel didn't participate in the offseason, he can't be rated a certain thing on Madden. Greeny, Jamar Chase kills people and he just runs straight. There's like no move. It's not no stutter. Deebo Samuel was the best wide receiver and running back on the same team. And you mean to tell me these two dudes cannot get a Madden rating that's in the top 10? I'm going to tell you what, that's why I was always terrible at the game, Greeny, because you didn't have to punt on 4th and 15, and the ratings for Jamar Chase and Deebo Samuel have them out of the top 10.
Outstanding. I have missed this so much. In the meantime, the last one that we want to point out here is one I'm going to bring Big Perk in for as well, because I just think this is a really interesting conversation starter. So RC tweeted, at some point, us old folks got to understand, these young boys ain't worried about legacy. Legacies don't pay bills, take care of families, or get you rings. These boys have their own motives and are moved by them. Let's stop guessing what they're thinking and applaud the checkmates. That's a really interesting discussion. It's particularly at this
20 minutes ago, but we're going to be shorting their stock because the New England Patriots are the second best team in the AFC East behind the Buffalo Bills.
Now that's really interesting to me. I wanted to bring that back, and the crew did a good job of getting us there, because you made this sneaky prediction earlier that you think Mac Jones will have a terrific year, that he's a sneaky, interesting pick for MVP. I think conventional wisdom is as follows. The Patriots have lost the guy who was sort of the brains of their offense all these years in Josh McDaniels, not replaced him. Bill is going to call the plays. That their roster right now might not be, that the cupboard might be sort of rivaling as empty as it has been in a very long time there, and that Bill, the greatest coach of all time, will need to do his best coaching job to make this team a contender this year. Is that not the way you see it?
No, I think that's fair, but let me tell you a story. In the late 90s, I was in the coaching box of the New York Jets charting plays, and Bill Parcells, the head coach, was the play caller. It worked so well, Greeny. As you know, we went to the championship game. Bill Belichick was the defensive coordinator and witnessed it firsthand. If there's anybody else on the plan that can do it successfully this year, it's Bill Belichick, and he will manage the game. This is a team with 2 great running backs, 2 great tight ends, a really good offensive line, and in my opinion, a slightly underrated collective receiving corps. So I think the CEO of Bill Belichick will manage this team. They'll be great in the kicking game like they always have. And I think they have a young superstar at the quarterback position who led the team last year to the playoffs, and they scored more points than the Patriots did with Tom Brady the year before.
But look, if you watched that playoff loss in which they got just shellacked by the Bills, I thought Mac Jones actually acquitted himself fairly well.
And Greedy, in that game, the Bills never punted it. It was the Patriots defense that let it up.
That let them down completely. RC, how about it? This I think is a pick that flies in the face of conventional wisdom, but no one ever got rich betting against Bill Belichick. How about the Patriots as we begin training camp season here, RC?
I think you never discount or you never go against Bill Belichick and what he has from a coaching acumen situation. But also, you got to look at this team and the other teams they'll be facing. The Buffalo Bills are the best team, at least on paper, in the AFC. The Miami Dolphins are an ascending team that got a lot better throughout the offseason. And you're looking at the New England Patriots trying to figure out how much have they helped Mac Jones grow from year 1 to year 2. Yeah, I know it. We've seen his new body and he's shredded and he's doing some TB12 stuff, but will he be able to push the football down the field? Will he have learned enough in the offseason about the quarterback position to take that leap from year 1 to year 2? And especially a guy like Mac Jones, who I felt like was already at the top of his physical capabilities. What did he learn? What nuances of the game can he take to the field this year? And who's going to allow him to do that? I'm not counting against Bill Belichick, but we watched Bill Belichick last year and the year before not have the best team in the AFC East, not have a team that we feel can win the Super Bowl. So I don't necessarily know what changes now that he's taking on more responsibilities, especially when we're looking at what he's doing offensively.
The Mac Jones of it all is fascinating to me. The question about him was always how high is the ceiling? We knew the floor was super high on him coming out, and he has certainly demonstrated that. He had a terrific rookie year. No one's taking anything away from him. But with the physical limitations, whatever we perceive them to be, are there multiple steps above that he can take?
Greedy, if you own the New York Jets and you had one game, would you take Zach Wilson or Mac Jones?
Right now, I would take Mac Jones, obviously. But in the whole idea here, and the reason that Zach Wilson went, whatever it was, 13 picks ahead of him, is because the belief is that in the long run, Zach Wilson should be the better player, or at least could be the better player.
Yeah, and I think we got to go by what we see. I think Mac Jones has played really good football for a long time. And again, I'm shocked that the Carolina Panthers passed on him a year ago in the draft, and I think a lot of teams are going to regret that.
Fowler, what are you hearing?
We're going to see how much Bill Belichick trusts Mac Jones, because talking to some coaches around the league, they're wondering how liberated Mac Jones will be in year 2. They felt like as a rookie, he was very well protected by the offense, some short throws, not too many pass attempts. That's understandable, rookie quarterback, good running backs, ball control. But they feel like, hey, if he's going to be that sneaky MVP candidate, potential superstar, he's going to have to do a little bit more. It's like me when I go to the gym. You're just looking for modest gains, right? You're not looking for perfection. Just a little bit more we want to see.
Okay. RC, give me a final thought on this,
right, RC?
Particularly on Belichick taking over the offense. I mean, Josh McDaniels, he's one of the most respected offensive coordinators in recent memory. Out he goes, and they don't replace him. Bill calling the plays. What do you think?
Yeah. I think Tannenbaum just educated me, right? When you've seen something work before, like Bill Belichick got to see with Bill Parcells calling plays, you think to yourself, I'm as smart as this guy. I learned under this guy. This is something that I can do. But sometimes ego can be what causes you to fail, and pride comes before the fall. This is very unconventional. This is almost saying we spit in the face of what we've always known coaching staffs to be. I think that Bill Belichick understands football enough to be able to coordinate, strategize, and scheme offenses. But calling plays is not only a science, but it's an art. It's something you have to feel. It's something you have to vibe with. And doing it defensively and offensively is different. You have to be in tune with your quarterback, your players, and understand what the situation needs at that time offensively. We've never seen Bill Belichick do that, be in charge of that. And so I'm looking forward to see, can he do it? But I'm doubting that he's great at it and good enough, and they have good enough players to make him or to help him get there.
Can we really look? The AFC West is the best division. The AFC East might be the most interesting because aside from Buffalo, there are just fascinating.